So what's this new off-season trading craziness that's going on in our league? Well, I wanted to try to encourage us to stay active in the off-season and not just kind of be done, wait till the draft, and then coast through the season again, and then just kind of be done again. So I kind of brainstormed a little bit and came up with this unique idea. Until we get some like regular people in the league, we don't have any turnover. I kind of want to try this reverse dynasty kind of an off season. So in a traditional dynasty, you get to keep the roster that you end with at each year, and then the draft each subsequential year is pretty much just rookies that you're drafting. Well, what I want to do is I want to make it so that people who are kind of coming in and inheriting a team that is not that good, or a team that just isn't that good, Darren and Brandon, then you guys can have a chance to kind of get good players again in the off season. So stack teams, kind of like Matt Cantrell or Pack Attack, he can't keep all the great players that he used this last season to win the division. So how it works is we are a one keeper league, so you get to keep one player on your roster from each year. So you get to look at your roster and you get to keep one player from the previous roster. Now later on this summer, probably just before our draft, I'll do the analysis that will tell us if it's a like what pick you're going to lose. Typically the general rule of thumb is the average draft position, and you can Google that. Just Google average draft position and the player you're looking for, and it should give you an idea of where they go. But you take the average draft position and then take away the following pick. So for example, Le'Veon Bell is typically a first round pick, and so if you're going to keep him, you would you'd lose your second round pick the following year. So it's the round that they normally be drafted in, or the average draft position minus one round, however you want to look at it. So yeah, you get to keep your one player from your league, and then this is where it gets interesting, is you will be able to keep any player you trade for in the off season. So for example, I can trade with, we'll use Dom as an example, who is wham bam thank you Cam. If I wanted to trade with Dom, I could look at his roster and see who he has, and I could say, like, he has Kareem Hunt right now. I could say, hey, I want Kareem Hunt. Would you trade for him? And he may say, hey, I want a third round, or I want a fifth round, or I want a first round. Who knows what he's going to want? But you could start that conversation. And then if they agree on it, you just let the commissioner know, myself. You can email me or text me. And then I'll add it into the Google Docs as a public record so that everybody can see it and see what's kind of going on, and update the appropriate draft picks in there as well, so you can continually go back to that Google Doc and see what you need, what you have in terms of draft capital and players. So yeah, again, kind of using Matt Cantrell as an example, he may keep Le'Veon Bell and give up his second round pick, and then want to trade for Kareem Hunt, and he may be able to give Dom his first round pick for Kareem Hunt, in which then at the beginning of the season he would have Le'Veon Bell and Kareem Hunt, but he wouldn't start drafting until the third round. You could theoretically trade away all your draft picks and have your entire roster figured out before the draft. I don't think that's going to happen, just because I don't think people are going to be that active, nor would you be able to get, all the people that you want that are currently on active rosters, because there's a whole bunch of players that are on the free agency market that you can't touch until the draft. Some people who are had a disadvantage this year for this is Cassie. Sorry, that's Victoria's Secret, and that's mainly because you didn't have an entire roster at the end of the season. You left some players. You had some open benches, and so you just didn't have a full roster. And some teams who are at an advantage on this is Darren and which is Eagles Lair, and Dom, again, wham bam thank you ma'am, or Cam, not ma'am. Yeah, so they have an extra one because they have their entire roster filled out plus an IR spot. So yeah, feel free, start texting each other, start figuring out strategies and plans on how you can come up with values. You can trade players with picks, pretty much go crazy. And once you and your other league mate have agreed on it, then just let me know and I'll update the spreadsheets accordingly. The short version of the new rule is if you trade for them in the offseason, you get to keep them, and then you still get to keep one player from your previous year's roster if you want to. It's optional. You don't have to if you don't want to. Anyways, that's your update.